Hey, Andrew here for mynexttablet.com. Today with an unboxing of the Huawei MediaPad M5 10.8. Alright, let's start the unboxing of the Huawei MediaPad M5 10.8. It's a new 10.8-inch Android tablet that was introduced just a couple of weeks ago at Mobile World Congress, and it is slowly getting available in Europe, and it should be available soon elsewhere in the world as well. Prices start at 399 euros for the Wi-Fi version with 32 GB of internal storage. That's the version that I bought. And yeah, now we are unboxing this tablet. Let's see what's inside the box first. This is the tablet, obviously. And then we've got a couple of other things here. There's this little SIM eject tool. It's not for a SIM card in this case, but for a micro SD card. And the SIM card and the micro SD card share the same slot, I believe, if you've got the LTE version. That's Wi-Fi only. Let's open this up here and see what else is inside this box. We've got some warranty, quick start guide stuff. Then we've got, yeah, that's what I didn't notice at Mobile World Congress. I visited the press conference and played with this tablet for over an hour already. And what I did notice is that there's no standard 3.5mm audio jack on the tablet itself. I saw it on the website from Huawei already. They include an adapter from USB Type-C to 3.5mm. That's really disappointing because, come on, there's enough space on a tablet to include a standard headphone jack, but they didn't do it here. That's really sad. For a tablet, there's just enough room. Why do they do that? Anyway, then we've got here probably the standard cable. Yeah, just a standard USB Type-C cable here. And then let's see here, that's just a standard power plug, the European version in this case. Alright, that's inside the box. Again, the adapter is really sad. Why would you do that on a tablet? It's 7.3mm thin, so it's not even the thinnest Android tablet out there. The Galaxy Tab S2 series is just 5.6mm thin, and they do have a 3.5mm audio jack. Anyway, this is the tablet itself. It looks really nice. I really liked it at Mobile World Congress, and it really feels high-end. We've got a full metal body here, a 13-megapixel camera on the back, 4 speakers in total. There are like 2 sound bars with 2 speakers each, so the sound quality should be pretty good. You've got a full metal back here. There's a little connector for an optional keyboard cover that is not available yet, so I can't demonstrate it in this video. You can't get the keyboard as of now. Yeah, let's go around a bit. We've got a volume rocker over here, a power button, then a micro SD card slot, and as I said, I think there's the SIM card slot as well if you've got the LTE version. Then we've got a standard USB Type-C port over there, and nothing on this side. We've got the antennas here, as you can see. So there's actually no plastic cover or what. We just see the antennas here, which is quite nice. As I said, 13-megapixel camera on the back, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but it kind of sticks out a bit. So yeah, I will certainly test the picture quality. Maybe it's very good. Let's hope it is very good. I will slowly turn it on already. On the top here, we've got an 8-megapixel camera, then the Huawei logo, and a fingerprint reader similar to the Huawei MediaPad M3 and M3 Lite 10 from last year. So you can unlock it using your fingerprint. Alright, let's see if there's any charge on it. Yeah, there is. I felt it vibrating, and there it turns on. By the way, we've got some kind of like 2.5D glass here, so it's really nicely rounded. The whole tablet here feels really nice in your hands, like it's got rounded edges. It just feels very nice. I'm still shocked by the Lenovo Mix 630 that I played with at Mobile World Congress, which has so sharp edges that it's uncomfortable to hold. Yeah, but that's not the case at all here. It's really nice to hold it. Feels nice in the hand. It's not too heavy. And yeah, let's connect to Wi-Fi, my Google account and so on, and then I will be back. Alright, I'm back. I connected to Wi-Fi, connected to my Google account, and I already installed a couple of apps we'll take a look at later. And yeah, now we can take a look at the tablet itself further. First of all, let's take a look at the display. It's 10.8 inches, as the name suggests, and it has a very high resolution of 2560 by 1600. So we've got a very, very high resolution screen here. And yeah, that's really nice. It's an IPS screen with good viewing angles and a high resolution. And you notice that resolution especially with text. Text look very, very sharp on here, and that's very, very nice if you read, and yeah, it just looks pretty. Obviously, it doesn't really translate to this video because the video is full HD only, and this has a higher resolution screen. But yeah, text look really nice on here. Colors seem to look nice as well, and the viewing angles are good. I'm not sure how bright it is. I've got a big light shining on me here, but it's set to full brightness. So in direct sunlight, it might be a bit dark. I really have to try that. Alright, in here runs a Kirin 960S processor that's made by Huawei, and that's a octa-core chip with 4 cores clocked at 2.1 GHz and 4 other cores clocked at 1.8 GHz. And that is the Kirin 960S. There's also a standard Kirin 960, and the standard 960 sits inside the Pro version and the 8.4-inch MediaPad M5. And the only difference is that with that one, with the standard Kirin 960, the more powerful 4 cores are clocked at 2.4 GHz and not 2.1 GHz. So those will be just a bit faster. I'm not sure if you will notice a real difference in real life use though. Next to that Kirin 960, we get 4 GB of RAM as a standard and 32 GB of internal storage, but you can also get it with 64 GB and 128 GB. And for each of those, you have to pay around 50 euros more, and will probably be around $50 US more. Let's take a look at the storage real quick. Before I installed anything, I made a screenshot, and as you can see, I've got the 32 GB version, but I only have 21.37 GB free out of the box before I did anything. And yeah, a lot of storage is taken up by the system, and also others here with 1.6 GB. There are a lot of apps pre-installed. Yeah, that's just how Huawei does it. All right, let's take a look at a couple of benchmarks. I already ran Geekbench 4 and Antutu, and there you can see the results. In the single core test, it's 1636, and in the multi-core test, 5623, and I did it twice, the results are very similar. The same goes for Antutu, 173,284 in this one, and the second run is very similar as well. And I already did my benchmark graphic. These are the Android tablets I reviewed in the last year, 1 or 2 years, and there you can see the comparison. And the Huawei MediaPad M5 10.1, as you can see, is indeed officially now the fastest Android tablet I reviewed. The Antutu score is noticeably better than with the Samsung Galaxy Tab S3, which was released last year and was on top of this list until now. And the Geekbench multi-score test is better as well. And the single-core test is actually not as good as the Galaxy Tab S3. The Galaxy Tab S3 is just a tick faster, and the same goes for the MediaPad M3, which is about 1.5 years old by now, maybe a bit longer. Alright, so as you can see, the benchmark results are quite impressive. It is now the fastest Android tablet that I reviewed, and by that the fastest Android tablet that you can buy currently. Alright, but also as I said, the MediaPad 8.4 and the Pro version will be just a bit faster because of those 2.4 GHz compared to 2.1 GHz here. Alright, and that's what I have to say about the performance so far. I obviously have to do a gaming test and so on, but I just quickly wanted to do those benchmarks. Alright, let's take a look at the software. On here runs Android 8.0.0 Oreo. So it's one of the first or the first Android tablet to ship with Android 8.0 Oreo. And besides the Google Pixel C, there is no tablet right now that did get an update to Oreo. So as of now, this is the only one that is really shipping with Oreo, and that is great. And together with Oreo, we get the EMUI, the Emotion UI, in version 8 as well. And as you can see, the interface is customized quite heavily. Yeah, that's the Emotion UI. It did not change compared to previous generations. If you ever had a smartphone or another tablet from Huawei in the last, let's say, 2 or 3 years, you won't see any differences. All right, a couple of things that I should note here. First of all, you don't see the navigation buttons on the bottom here. Obviously, they are there out of the box, but the fingerprint reader, which is configured for my fingerprint already, so I can show you, the fingerprint reader supports gestures. For example, if I press shortly, it's a back button. If I press longer, it's a home button. And if I swipe up, now let's swipe up here, you get this recents menu, and yeah, so it replaces those 3 buttons, but you can activate them or deactivate them however you like. You've already seen that there's quite a lot of storage taken up by the system and the UI, and there are really a lot of apps pre-installed. Obviously the Google ones, then we've got some tools apps here like a recorder, calculator, a phone clone app, downloads, a compass, a watch, then we've got VPS Office, WPS Office, eBay, Instagram, Netflix, a kids corner, that's kind of a kids UI. And what else do we have? We've got a couple of games pre-installed, but I did install Geekbench and those benchmarks apps, OneDrive and Word, but everything else was pre-installed. I did not install Facebook, I did not install this quick video editor. And yeah, besides those apps, some of them you can deinstall, some of them you cannot. There are a lot of features as well. For example, this tablet manager, it's not really that useful, but for example, you can change into like battery saving modes and so on from there. There are also themes you can install to customize the look of it. You can also have different backgrounds and so on. That's all what we know from Android. By the way, what is missing is like you cannot add several users like you're usually used to. Usually you can add several users to Android, and that's not the case here. Huawei did not implement it at all. What we obviously get is this multitasking feature. Let's just start a couple of apps and then we can open 2 apps side by side. So that's obviously a standard feature of Android by now, but Huawei supported it anyways before it was introduced with Nougat, I believe. Alright, another interesting feature is the so-called desktop mode. As you might know, you can get an optional keyboard cover with the Huawei MediaPad M5 and M5 Pro, which is not out right now, but it connects to this little pin connector here on the bottom. I connected it to my Microsoft Universal Mobile Keyboard using Bluetooth, and I also connected a standard USB mouse using a USB Type A to Type C adapter, and the desktop mode is not activated automatically like it will if you have the official keyboard cover. Then there will be a little pop-up and it will ask you, do you want to go to desktop mode? Right now with this Bluetooth keyboard we have to activate it manually, but it's not that hard. You just swipe down here and press desktop mode, and then you press on start, and then the Emotion UI changes into something that looks kind of like a mix between Windows 10 and Windows XP because of this wallpaper here. But it has a kind of start menu, a taskbar down here, then a notification menu which looks a bit like Windows 10 as well, and we got those 3 typical Android buttons here as well. Alright, and obviously icons here and a kind of desktop. And yeah, let's just start a couple of apps like this Notes app, for example. And with this Notes app, since I have the keyboard connected now, I can type whatever I want to type. By the way, this is just a feature from, I believe, SwiftKey. You will be able to deactivate it in the settings because this can get a bit annoying. But with this window here, you see it's not full screen like it would be on Android. No, with this app, you actually cannot resize the window, but you can make it full screen or have it in a window like this. But actually right now I cannot resize it. Let's just close this and maybe start the file manager. And yeah, this window you can resize, although the animations of the resizing is a bit laggy. So this desktop mode is not super polished, and maybe Huawei will fix it with an update. But yeah, it's not that useful either, because, for example, if I start Word, then I can use Word either in a window mode like this, which kind of looks like the smartphone interface maybe, but what happened there, I don't know. But yeah, it has a kind of smartphone interface here. It's so tiny, but you cannot change the window size. You can make it full screen, and then obviously you can type in this small window here as well, and that all works, but it's not that useful. Right now I can't even change the window here, like move it. I can open Chrome, and that it does not work in the window mode at all. It's always full screen, and there's a bar here that's kind of useless on the top and takes away from the screen. That's not super useful, but certainly interesting what they're doing here. It has room for improvements. The calculator cannot be changed in size either. Now I can move this around a bit, but yeah, I cannot change the size of the word here. What else can I open? I can open maybe the gallery, and that all is nice. We've got windowed modes here. We can go through the benchmarks again and yeah, play with it. That's all very interesting, but I'm really not sure how useful that will be in everyday use. WPS Office, by the way, works a bit better than Microsoft Word, because here, for example, you can change the window size actually, and then again type whatever you want to type. It's all very interesting, and in theory there's a lot of room for improvement. So let's see if Huawei will make it a bit better, but it's certainly interesting. By the way, the Lenovo Tab 410 Plus has a similar interface. To exit this, you just go here and close the desktop mode, and then you are out of the desktop mode. Alright, that's kind of what I have to say about the software of the Huawei MediaPad M5. Let me disconnect the mouse here and shut down the keyboard. It's certainly nice that we've got Android 8.0 Oreo here, so fairly recent, and it's one of the most up-to-date Android tablets right now. That is certainly nice. My first impressions overall are pretty good. The build quality is really nice. We've got nice speakers. I listened to YouTube already with this, watched a couple of videos, and the speakers are loud, have a nice bass, and they sound really nice for a tablet. I have to check out the cameras in more detail. The display, the screen is really nice, very high resolution, colors look nice, and it's fully laminated, which is great, unlike the 2017 iPad, for example. And yeah, I'm not sure about the brightness. I've got a big light here shining on it, but I have to test it outside in daylight to see how good the brightness is. It should be fine, but maybe it's not the brightest. I'm not sure. The performance obviously is excellent. It's the fastest Android tablet I reviewed so far, or I'm about to review. The only thing I don't like, first of all, the Emotion UI. There's just too much stuff pre-installed. Once I'm done with this video, I will deinstall all the apps and games. I just don't use them to get rid of them. And yeah, that's always a bit too heavy, the Emotion UI from Huawei. And what I really don't like is that they got rid of this 3.5mm audio jack. Come on, there's enough room on here. Just include it. Don't give us a Type-C to 3.5 audio adapter. There's enough room for a standard audio jack. Alright, so my first impressions are really good, and yeah, if you've got any questions, just write them down below. I will have a gaming test coming up, probably a couple of tips and tricks for the software, and then a final review in a couple of weeks. I'm Andrzej for mynexttablet.com. Thanks for watching.